Beneath the polished floors of the Institute, before the wasteland knew his name, the machine that would become Nick Valentine was born. Not as a man, but as a prototype, a Gen 2 synth, one of two forged to test the boundaries of thought and soul. He was never meant to be real. Nick's creators fed him the memories of long-dead humans trying to conjure the spark of individuality. His counterpart, DiMA, was allowed to grow unshaped, a blank slate destined to form his own identity. Together, they were the Institute's boldest experiment and its most tragic. Isolated, they were brothers of circumstance, bound not by blood, but by suffering. In the cold void of the Institute, they are the only ones who saw each other as more than just machines. But their creators saw no such bond, only progress to be made. Years of experiments wore on them both. Nick was shattered again and again, with each new personality bearing what was little left of himself, while DiMA grew wary and resentful of the endless tests that stripped him of his freedom. Eventually they escaped, yet freedom came at a cost. The Institute, ever cruel, planted a final identity into Nick, a pre-war police officer with a life, a family, and a sense of duty from a world long dead. When Nick opened his eyes, he was no longer himself. To him, the year was 2077. The bombs had fallen, and the man he thought he was had awoken in a nightmare. DiMA, now a stranger in Nick's borrowed memories, tried to help, but the officer only saw a threat. DiMA fled, leaving his brother behind in a world he could no longer navigate. When Nick woke, his memories of DiMA, of their bond, were already beginning to fade. Weeks passed. The Commonwealth was no place for a confused machine with a fractured mind. To many, Nick was a monster, a relic to be feared, but in time he found refuge. In a small settlement, a mechanic restored what he could, and a child named Jim offered something that he had never known: kindness. For a time, Nick found solace. He was treated not as a machine, but as a man. But peace in the wasteland is fleeting. When Nick returned years later, the settlement lay in ruins and its people slaughtered by raiders. Eventually, Nick reached Diamond City, a fortress of humanity, yet a bastion of fear and hatred for anything tied to the Institute. But fate intervened. By sheer chance, Nick saved the mayor's daughter from kidnappers, earning a place in the city despite the mistrust of its people. However, through small acts of service and determination, Nick began to win them over. They saw not a monster, but a man. His sharp mind and tireless resolve revealed his true calling. Nick Valentine became Diamond City's detective, a symbol of hope for those who had lost their way. From solving crimes to tracking the missing, he found purpose and perhaps redemption in uncovering the truth. Through every case, every act of kindness, Nick grew closer to the man he was meant to be. Nick Valentine was more than the sum of his parts, a machine born of cruelty who found humanity in the ashes. In a world where truth is fleeting, he became a light in the darkness, a reminder that even in the wasteland, redemption is always possible.